It is Friday, and that means football's just around the corner with high school football tonight, college football tomorrow, and NFL football on Sunday. It's going to be a loaded weekend for college and NFL football. I have a special guest coming on the show to help out with some NFL predictions later on. The World Series is tied 1-1 between the Rays and the Dodgers, so some outlooks on the World Series as well. This is all coming ahead on All the Talk, All the Sport. In our last episode, we covered the predictions for the World Series outlook. I did take the Los Angeles Dodgers to win the World Series, and I still have the Los Angeles Dodgers winning the World Series. The Dodgers took Game 1 of this best-of-7 series by a score of 8-3 on Tuesday night, with Clayton Kershaw throwing an absolute gem for Los Angeles. And Wednesday night, the night after, actually, the Rays took Game 2, 6-4. Glasnow looked really good as well. So this series is evened up. Last night, Thursday night, was a break, and the action picks up again tonight, Friday nights, for Game 3. And the pitching duel tonight is Charlie Morton will go for the Tampa Bay Rays, and Walker Buehler will go for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Walker Buehler, arguably one of the best, arguably the number one pitcher in Los Angeles. Charlie Morton is definitely not the number 1 or 2 starter, probably 3 or 4 sitting around there in Tampa Bay. So I do have the Dodgers winning tonight and getting that series game lead, that one game lead again, and picking back up where they left off on Tuesday night in their pursuit for their first World Series in a couple years. They made it, obviously, to the postseason and deep in the postseason the past few years, but nothing's been able to quick. So that's just a quick little recap on baseball. Now let's talk some college football for you. The Big Ten picks up this weekend. That's exciting. The Pac-12 picks up November 7th, that weekend of November 7th and November 6th. So it's going to be an exciting week for college football and NFL football. I now welcome in Eli Houser for some NFL predictions. We got a list of games coming for you, starting with a 1 o'clock between two undefeateds, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tennessee Titans. Who do you have in the Pittsburgh Steelers-Tennessee Titans game?
I think it's going to be a good game, but I think it's the Titans. I mean, the ability to run the ball for both teams is going to be huge. I just think Derrick Henry is very, very hard to stop, and even though the Steelers have a great defense, I just don't think it's good enough.
Does that Derrick Henry reference have anything to do that he's on your fantasy team and you're in first place?
It does. He helped me win last week. He had 47 points. So.
Yeah, and he wouldn't do Derrick Henry for Elliott trade. Absolutely unbelievable. Moving down the list, I think, well, actually, let's stick on this game a little longer. I think this is going to be an interesting game for sure. The Steelers offense and the Titans offense are both electric, and it's going to be a battle of who makes the first mistake that is costly, that first turnover, and gets the other team the swing of momentum. But I'm going with the Steelers in this one. That's the only one I want to make a pick on. I have the Steelers and the Titans. Panthers, Saints, Eli. Who do you have?
I have the Panthers. And I know that's not like the Saints, they're playing well, but they're just not playing like they usually do. Michael Thomas probably won't play this week. So I think that Panthers offense is going to be too hard to stop. They're going to be missing Marshawn Lattimore again. So it could be a rough one for the Saints.
Yeah, so that's an interesting pick there. Two interesting picks, in my opinion, to begin right off the gate. Now let's move down to the 405 games and the Buccaneers and Raiders. So who do you have for the Buccaneers and Raiders?
That's actually going to be a really good game, I think. But I think the Bucs will win. The Raiders are missing 5 starting offensive linemen due to COVID and their best safety in Jonathan Abram. So, I mean, the Bucs just played the Packers and they killed them. And I don't think that will end.
Yeah, so the Buccaneers-Raiders game was originally supposed to be on Sunday Night Football, but that one got pushed ahead, and now the Seahawks and Cardinals are the Sunday night game. But before we get to that, let's get 49ers-Patriots.
I'm going to take New England in this one. The 49ers, Jimmy G's game back. against the Dolphins a few weeks or 2 weeks ago. It looked ugly. But last week he bounced back, kind of a simpler game plan, and they beat the Rams, they're a pretty good team. But that Patriots defense is still really good. I think they're going to get it back on track. I mean, last week was ugly against Denver, but I'll take New England.
Interesting. So the Sunday night game, Seahawks and Cardinals. Seahawks are 5-0. Cardinals are 4-2. Cardinals coming off a huge win over Dallas, and the Seahawks look to stay rolling and can keep their undefeated season. Who do you have between the birds here?
I have the Seahawks. The Cardinals last week versus Dallas started off really slow. Kenyon Drake actually did look to get going, though, which was a good sign for them. DeAndre Hopkins is dealing with an injury. I don't really think it'll be that close. I think Seattle will take the win easily, so we'll see.
This is one thing I want to mention. Sunday Night Football has now had a lot of appearances on the West Coast for sure, and that's another West Coast game in Arizona. And then Monday night, how about this? The Bears lead the NFC North, and ahead of the Packers off the Packers loss. The Bears are 5-1. Who would have thought that in 2020? And that is exactly what 2020 is all about. But they'll travel to Los Angeles to face the Rams. Who do you have in the Rams and the Bears?
I'm gonna take the Rams. The Bears they've been really hot lately. I mean, Nick Foles has stepped in and he hasn't lost a game. Or no, he lost one game versus the Colts. Sorry, but the Rams had an ugly week last week. I think they'll bounce back. Cooper Kupp looked really bad last week. He only had, I think, 2 or 3 catches. He dropped the touchdown. That defense just didn't look the same. But I think versus the Bears, they should have a little bit more success.
Awesome. So thank you so much for coming on, Eli. Awesome having you on, and always as a great NFL insider for some NFL Week 7 predictions. Now let's talk some college football. Big Ten football starts tomorrow, and college football continues as it is technically Week 8. However, many teams have discombobulated schedules, but we do nonetheless have college football predictions for you, starting off with an all-ranked matchup out of the ACC from North Carolina. It is the North Carolina State Wolfpack going to the North Carolina Tar Heels. North Carolina ranked at 14, was ranked at 5 prior to the Virginia Tech loss. North Carolina State ranked at 23. Give me the Tar Heels in this one. I think they bounce back off of a Hokies loss and get back on track. I think this team is a little bit overrated, but then Virginia Tech came in, shut them down and showed them back down to earth for them. So Oklahoma and TCU, a Big 12 matchup here. Oklahoma hasn't looked good. There's no hiding it. They have 2 losses already, and usually seeing Oklahoma at 500 is crazy, and it is crazy. TCU doesn't look too great either. They're 1-2. But I do have the Oklahoma Sooners pulling out a win. They're on upset alert every game this year, in my opinion, with such a young quarterback, Spencer Rattler, such a young offense and defense, losing a lot of guys to the draft. But I do have Oklahoma heading down to Fort Worth and taking care of business over the Horned Frogs. And moving down the list here, another ranked matchup is Iowa State and Oklahoma State. Iowa State defeated Oklahoma. That's one of Oklahoma's losses. So Iowa State is a really good Big 12 team. I don't think they are as good as the Pokes from the Cowboys in Oklahoma State. So I do have Oklahoma State pulling out a win over the Cyclones on Saturday. Trying to get a Big 10 prediction for you, and I do have just that. But let's do another ranked matchup while we're at it with the Cincinnati Bearcats and the SMU Mustangs. The Cincinnati Bearcats are number 9. The SMU Mustangs are number 16. I do have Cincinnati in this one. I did have Cincinnati going undefeated the whole year. They are 3-0 to start, but so is SMU. SMU is actually 5-0. So this is going to be a really good Saturday night matchup beginning at 9. So once you're done watching that Saturday night football game, flip over to ESPN2 to catch the Bearcats and the Mustangs do battle. Give me the Bearcats in this one to keep them on pace for that undefeated season. And to finish our predictions, the number 18 Michigan Wolverines and the number 21 Minnesota Golden Gophers as PJ Fleck and crew try to keep the boat rowing up there in Minneapolis, Minnesota, as Big Ten kicks off one of the best Big Ten games this season, as FPI projected. I do have Michigan getting on tack and getting their season started with a win over the Minnesota Golden Gophers. So it's going to be an exciting college football Saturday as the Big Ten returns. That wraps up this episode of All the Talk, All the Sports. Make sure to check us on social media, and thank you for watching.